Hi, I'm Chris from Student Wellbeing, and today we're going to do a Q&A session with Chris from NW Counselling. Chris, are you okay just to give me a little bit of introduction about who you are and who you work for?
Yeah, sure. So my name's Chris, or Christopher. I do answer to both. I work at NW Counselling Hub. I'm their clinical lead, so I kind of oversee all the case management, and I take responsibility for the safeguarding aspect of NW Counselling as well. I am a qualified psychotherapist. I've been working at NW now for about 3 years, and I also, because NW's got a teaching part of the business as well, I also teach on level 2 and level 3 counselling courses. So very busy, very busy role that I have.
Okay, brilliant, thank you. So our first question is counselling face-to-face?
It is, and I guess we have to keep referring to the uncertain times that we're living at the moment. We're in a lockdown, and even through the lockdown we are still offering face-to-face counselling, but we also offer a range of other methods as well. So we have Zoom, we offer Zoom sessions for people, telephone sessions, and what's really interesting is we're about to launch a new app. So we're going to have an app-based approach to therapy as well, where people can just sort of check in, and there'll be lots of information on there about managing well-being. So we're opening up to a whole new world of therapy, if you like, but primarily our work is still face-to-face.
Okay, brilliant, thank you. Next question, are you a dog or a cat person?
I like this question because before I met my wife, I was a dog person. My wife's allergic to dogs, so now I'm a cat person. We have a cat, Maine Coon, really big cat, and he's got really loose fur. So my wife says, "Oh, I'm allergic to dogs, but we've got this really furry cat." So I'm now a cat person.
Okay, thank you. Next question. So, if a student refers themselves to your service, how quickly would they be seen?
Okay, so there's what we would say is typically you will be assessed. So we have an assessment team, and so you'll get an assessment within 48 to 72 hours. We like to place with a counsellor, so you'll get an appointment 4 to 6 weeks, and that changes a little bit. So usually it's a lot less than that, I would say, but obviously again, because of the situation that we're living in at the moment, we offer that. We say 4 to 6 weeks, just in case it takes a little longer. So it's quite a quick process, really, compared to other services.
It is, absolutely. And what services do you offer? Because you already said initially that you're looking at different things. Is there anything else that we've not covered?
In terms of the counselling that we offer, so we work with one-to-one, so just the individual. We work with couples, we work with families. We're looking at group work as well, so we're looking at various groups. We've got some great therapists, and we want to utilise their skill set, if you like. So we've got an art psychotherapist that works with us, so we do offer lots of different avenues, and group work is something that we're going to be looking at, as well as psychoeducation. We do a lot of psychoeducation in schools and businesses and things like that.
Okay, that's brilliant, thank you. Why do you think counselling is so important?
I think it's invaluable, actually, and there's this idea that people go to counselling just when things are not going so well in life, but it's not really about that. It's a safe space. It's a place for people to explore whatever's going on. And I'm a big believer that life happens to all of us. We all have difficulties. Life is a struggle, and certainly, again, talking about life at the moment, it's very difficult for people. And counselling is somewhere that's safe. The counsellor is empathy is key to what we do. And to be heard and for somebody to have that empathy for you is very validating, and it's a way of validating those feelings that you're having.
That's brilliant, thank you. How long can I have counselling for?
In our contract, we say a minimum of 6 sessions, and I always worry about that because I know there's a version of counselling which is 1 session counselling. It's not something I do. So there is no set answer. We have people that have 6 sessions, we have people that have 18 sessions through the Bromhead Medical Charity that funds some of our clients. But I've been working with people for several years, so there's no definite answer. It really does depend on the client. It depends on what the client wants counselling for, and and how that goes for them.
Okay, brilliant, thank you. Who's your favourite superhero?
Batman, definitely Batman. The reason for that is Batman's not perfect, and he knows he's not perfect. He knows he's got flaws, but he does the best he can.
Okay.
And that kind of resonates with me, I think.
I like that. I like that answer. What can you tell me what is so unique about NW Counselling?
I think the reason I work there, the reason I was drawn to working at NW is their ethos of the client comes first. You know, the client is the centre of everything that we do. That all the decisions around the business are made on what clients need. So we try very hard with that to match the client with the right counsellor. We have a big team of counsellors. We have a great assessment team. So there's that kind of always doing what the client wants. And on top of that, and this is really great, we do have access to an onboard psychiatrist, so we can refer for psychiatry needs if there's a need there. And we don't turn anybody away. We work from 4 years to no upper age limit. We believe wholeheartedly that anybody can have therapy if they want it. We have a lot of specialisms within the team, people working with emotionally unstable personality disorders, those kind of things. My speciality is working with people on the autistic spectrum and with ADHD. So we do that, I guess, that kind of really specialist but open to everybody approach.
Okay, thank you, thank you. Can I choose my counsellor?
We like to offer that. Certainly in the assessment process, Sally or Nick, our assessment team, will ask those questions. Is there anybody that you would like to work with? I get a lot of people wanting to work with me because of my specialism with autism. Naomi does, and some of the other counsellors do. It depends on our waiting list as well, I guess. You know, if we've got a big caseload, but wherever possible, again, putting the client first, we will try and accommodate.
Brilliant, thank you. Do you prefer sweet or savoury?
I struggled with this question because I don't actually like sweet things. I don't eat many sweet things, so it's got to be savoury.
Okay.
I know it's unusual, isn't it? Not many people say that.
That is really unusual. I'm like, what? So did I hear it right? Okay, so next question. So you really have flummoxed me there. I'm literally going, I don't think I've ever spoken to anybody that doesn't like sweet things. What type of things could you help me with if I wanted to look at counselling?
The whole range. Like I said before, we don't discriminate on any particular thing. So that we would expect grief and loss, anxiety, depression, those kind of things, working with trauma. My philosophy, and it's part of NW's philosophy, is that we're all human and we all experience those things. So whatever somebody brings, I can guarantee there'll be someone that will work with that within the organisation. Again, my philosophy is I work with the person.
Okay, that's brilliant. Can I speak to somebody in person? Absolutely.
We do have a referral system on our website, but that will always generate an appointment to speak to somebody. So right from the referral through to being placed with somebody, there's always someone available. We're open 6 days a week.
Okay, brilliant. If you could go back to any time, what time would you choose?
It would be the 1960s. So I was born in the 70s, so I was a bit late. But the 1960s, because you know, whenever you see things from the 1960s, it just looks so exciting, and suddenly the world was becoming an accessible place, and the music was fantastic. So I think the 60s definitely.
Yeah, I'd go for that one. Can you refer on to any other services?
We do. We've built over the years strong links with a lot of other services within Lincolnshire, like P3, Ad Action. I believe they're now called We Are With You. So we do. We have those strong links, and there's kind of a two-way referral. So they're referring to us, and we refer on to other people. And as I said, we have the onboard psychiatrist that we work with as well. So yeah, and again, that's always with clients' consent, and we work with the client for what's best with them.
Brilliant, thank you. Is your service confidential?
Absolutely, it's the cornerstone of counselling. We contract for confidentiality, and from the very first contact through to the final session and beyond, confidentiality is the centre of what we do. We anonymise documents. We work to data protection laws and GDPR, and that's all explained to the client throughout the whole process.
Brilliant, thank you. I have to ask you this one because we've had so many questions about this one. Can you tell me about your therapy dogs and how it works?
We always get asked. Sadly, we only have one now. We've got Ellie. We did have Toby, but Toby passed away last year. They're very popular therapy dogs. So Ellie works with Naomi. Naomi's her owner and her handler. So that creates a bit of a waiting list because you can only work with Naomi and Ellie. Ellie's fabulous. She's people that are anxious, people that are nervous of coming into our service. The moment they spot Ellie, it seems to really settle people. So she's a good icebreaker, but she's also really good at picking up on people's emotions. So if you're anxious or if you're upset, Ellie will respond to that. And she is. I'm not surprised you had a lot of questions. We get a lot of attention when she's in the building. Everybody wants to know Ellie.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's available, and I think she only works 2 days a week at the moment. And again, that's because of the times we're living in.
Okay, thank you. Who's your hero?
It's an easy one. Irvin Yalom is a psychotherapist, an American psychotherapist, and he's my hero because when I was training to be a therapist, I asked one of my tutors for a recommendation for a book that would really help me discover who I am as a therapist, and he recommended The Gift of Therapy. I recommend it to my students now. I can't recommend it enough to anybody that's considering therapy, and it's an open letter to therapists and to clients as well. So I'd recommend it to clients. And after reading the book, I was so moved by it, I actually contacted Garland and we had a chat over email about the book. So yeah, I'm very much in awe of Irvin.
Okay, brilliant, thank you. Can you give us some tips on how best to connect with people?
Sure. I think being yourself is the most important thing in connecting with anybody, and inviting that conversation and allowing yourself to be a part of that, a glimpse into your life, I guess, is a really good way of connecting with people. And I was thinking about my time at university when I first left home and went to university and how difficult that was for me. You know, and back then we didn't have social media and things that we do now, so it was really, really hard to suddenly be in a different place. And I think those kind of normal, natural things that you do at home seem to be a little bit forced. So just being yourself is probably the best thing there, and finding people with similar interests to yourself.
Okay, thank you. Can you give me any advice on how to maintain those connections during these really difficult times?
It's so difficult, isn't it? And you know, and I guess I've got a friend at Salford University at the moment, and all he's done is online learning from his room, and I really hear how difficult it is to be a part of the university life. But we're very fortunate, I think, in so much that we've got online media. Zoom is a great way of maintaining connections, social media and things like that, and being creative with Zoom. So rather than just checking in, having quizzes. A colleague of mine recently went to a baby shower on Zoom and said it was really fun. It was, you know, everybody really engaged, and it meant that people could connect from all different parts of the country that wouldn't have been there. So I think, yes, we're in difficult times, but there's real chance for us to connect beyond our locality, if you like.
Okay, brilliant, thank you. Last question, and this is probably going to be a really difficult one for you, considering the question I asked you before. What's your favourite dessert and why?
So difficult. I think when I was younger, I used to really enjoy key lime pie. I like key lime pie, and because of that sort of zesty, citrusy texture to it. So again, it's not really the sweetness; it's something else, and it's quite refreshing, isn't it? I guess. So that was all I could come up with there for that question.
That's brilliant. Listen, Chris, I want to thank you so much for joining us today, and the tips and kind of information you've given us about NW Counselling. You know, we've had some amazing feedback from our students that have accessed your service. So from our point of view, you know, thank you so much. And the partnerships that we've built with you guys, we hope they're just going to go from strength to strength. So thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you. Thank you. It's been a pleasure.